In this video we're going to show you how to use the LabVolt robotic arm, and what you'll need is, well, the robot. You'll need our controller, teach pendant. You'll need some items to manipulate that are in this tray, which are located in our lab materials cabinet. And there is a power switch that we'll need to turn on, and this power switch will flip that black switch, and the power is going to come on this controller. It should look like this, and it takes just a few seconds for it to load up. And once it comes on, you'll see this main menu appear. And what we'll need to do first is we'll need to take our robotic arm, and we're going to need to calibrate that. And to calibrate it, the first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to initialize the robotic arm. And up on the wall it shows the robot pointing over to the right, similar to this picture. And what we'll want to do is we'll want to have the robot face towards the right, just like this picture, so that it doesn't run into the wall or anything like that when it's going through its initialization phase. So I'm going to go to the Teach menu, and I'm going to move that robotic arm over, and using our different buttons here we'll be able to move that arm. And I'm going to take my controller and I'm going to simply raise that arm up out of the way, and I'm going to rotate it, and I want the arm to go up a little bit. And somebody had the arm go around too many times, so we got to spin it all the way around. So we just got to get it in the right spot. Okay. So the arm should look like this when you start. So you want to move it over so it's kind of in this position. So once we have it in the right position, then on our teach pendant we're going to go to the main menu, and we're going to go to number 3. We're going to go to initial, and what we want to do is we want to do a hard home. And what that's going to do is it's going to have the robot go through some movements to calibrate its sensors on the inside to tell exactly where it's going to go. And as you can tell, it's moving all over the place. That's why we want it facing towards the right so it doesn't hit the wall. And it may make some noise when it's going through the motions, like you hear right now. And it just takes a few seconds for it to go through all the motions, and it'll move. And it's just making sure that it knows its range of motion. So robot has to go through that initial phase to tell how far it can reach and move, so that when it's being programmed it knows its range of motion. And the controller is going to say hard home, finding home, please wait. So we'll want to wait for it to do what it wants to do here. So it's going to spin around a little bit, and sometimes when it finishes, the controller may not say that it's done. So we'll see what happens here. Okay, so it still says hard home, and it's not doing anything, so we'll want to just go ahead and go into that teach menu. Okay, so once we have the arm calibrated and we have it in its first position, we're going to go ahead and manipulate some objects here. In this case we have a black cylinder, and I'm simply going to open up that gripper, and I'm going to start to program the robot to do what I want it to do. So I'm just pressing that grip plus, and then every time you want it to remember what to do, you press that data key and it's going to record a point. So we're going to have that arm grab that cylinder and And you don't have to press it after every single little movement, but when I basically get it in the right spot, I'll press that data key, and then after every major movement, I'll press that data key to get it to program. So I'm just going to have it pick it up and move it over to a different spot. And right now I'm not really following the directions on the computer, I'm just demonstrating. So after each one of these movements that you see the robot arm stop, I'm pressing that data key so it records all the points. Okay, so now that I'm done recording the points, I'll go ahead and put my cylinder back in place, and then I can run the program. So if I go to the main menu and I go to execute, number 2, and I can run that program just once, I'll press 1 and it's going to go back to home, which is this position here, and then it's going to go do exactly what I programmed it to do, which is pick up that cylinder. As long as that cylinder is in the right spot, it'll pick it up. So I had to move it over a little bit, it was kind of off. And it'll move that cylinder just one time, and it'll do exactly what I programmed it to do. And then once it's done, it's going to go back and go back to its starting point. So when you program that robot arm, if you turn off the controller or power, it's going to lose its program, so you want to make sure you do all that in one class period that the computer is telling you to do, or else the program's lost and you'll have to redo things. So that's the basics of getting your robot arm to work and to calibrate it and to record points to get it to program to move something or do something.